It seems that barely a day goes by without trans issues making it into the news. And it's had me wondering, for such a small percentage of the population, why are so many of us constantly talking about them? I'd guess there are dozens of reasons, but first and foremost, by definition, trans people are unusual. They fall outside of societal norms. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, and all the trans people I know are like everyone else. They're just trying to make the best of their lives. However, these aren't the trans people you'll see on the internet. As I've said many times, within most minority groups, there's a minority within the minority who are determined to fuck it up for everyone else by making the entire community look mental. And my God, do the trans community have a problem, because they don't seem to police it. And before we move on, for the last few years, something curious has been going on. Because the far left and the far right, along with all their allies, and the far left and the far right, they're opposite sides of the same fucking coin. They're as bad as each other. Well, they've both been getting louder. So the middle ground, which is where I'm used to being, that's being eroded. So now I'm thinking, which insane group should I join? I think I'm quite a modern guy. I'm a part-time musician. I mix with people of all different races and religions, many of whom are quite artsy. For years I've been a campaigner for gay rights and women's rights, so I should be over on the far left. And to top it all off, I'm married to a foreigner. But I don't want to be on the left. I want to be in the centre, but that isn't there anymore. So I don't want to be on the far left. So what about the far right? Well, as a white guy, the far right mostly consists of Bible-bashing racists, but at least they're open about it. However, I don't want to hang about with the white supremacists, so I don't want to be on the far right. But the problem is, the far left, everything they say sounds fucking insane. So getting back to the subject of this video, an argument often used by the far left when it comes to the gender binary, in as much as there are men and women, or male and female. And that's not denying that trans people exist, it's just saying that if someone is born male, no amount of surgery will make them exactly the same as a biological female. Now for me that's common sense, but the far left say, if you believe that about the gender binary, you're a racist. So we'll circle back to that, but before we do, let's explore what for me, well, I believe it's the biggest problem that stops trans people being accepted by some parts of mainstream society. And that's trans women taking to social media and acting like fucking psychopaths. There are thousands of videos of trans women absolutely losing their shit because they feel they've been misgendered, which they haven't. Because it doesn't matter how big your wig is, how bright your lipstick is, or how flouncy your dress is. When you go to the drive-thru, the guy on the cash register isn't paying attention to you. And if you hand your credit card over and your name is fucking Derek, the chances are he'll address you as sir. And here's an idea for the angry trans women out there. If you want people to use your preferred pronouns, that's absolutely fine. I don't think anyone would have an issue with it. But come and introduce yourself. Don't assume we know what they are. Get to know people rather than acting like someone's lit the fuse on the tampon you've got shoved up your arse. So, maybe you've seen the clip that went viral of a woke trans ally attempting to argue with Ben Shapiro. Not a smart move. And as soon as he started to lose the argument, in true far-left fashion, he just lost it. I don't mean he lost the argument, I mean he lost his fucking mind. So I'm not really a big fan of Ben Shapiro, but there's no denying he is a great orator, and he was arguing in favour of the gender binary. So then this gentleman said several times that he's a mathematician and a physicist, although what the fuck that's got to do with human biology, I don't know. And also, apparently, he can't afford a shirt. So Quinton, what sort of name is that? Well, he accused Shapiro of using outdated data, which he wasn't. And rather than admit his mistake, in typical far less woke fashion, he resorted to insults, saying, "You sound like a bozo, bro." A bozo? Has 1973 come around again? You got no pussy and you can't make your wife wet, bro. Charming. Is it just me? Or does he look like the African-American version of Sideshow Bob? Anyway, he continued saying, gender binary is a Western colonialist work of gender. Trying to argue that only in countries from the West which have had empires is the idea of men and women being the only sexes relevant. But like every other woke bastard, he got it completely wrong. So when it comes to trans activists, and we're not arguing that there aren't trans men and trans women, just that they are not exactly the same as their biological counterparts, activists will usually say, what about the two-spirit people of the Native Americans, or Thai ladyboys, or the Hijras of India? All of which are given examples of transgender people being accepted all around the world in other cultures. However, so the Hijras of India, these are male worshippers of one of the Hindu goddesses, and I won't try and pronounce that goddess's name because I've got Hindu friends and I don't want to offend them. These are men who dress as women and act in a way which is more typical of female behaviour. But it doesn't mean they're seen as women. Hijra translates as either eunuch or transvestite, not transgender. Thai ladyboys. Some of them are fucking convincing. But these are men who dress as women. They may have breast implants, they can be gay, bisexual, sometimes they work as prostitutes. But there is no implication that they are the same as biological women. They are men dressing and acting in a feminine manner. Is any of this too difficult? So that brings us to the Native American two-spirit people. People who were said to be seen as being both male and female. And for woke activists, this is their absolute golden shot because they can attach all the white guilt to it. These evil white people arriving in the new world, slaughtering all the natives just to clear space for their African slaves. Yet there is a problem. You see, the two-spirit people of the noble indigenous tribes of the Americas, the third gender people, or at least the myth of the third gender people, because the term two-spirit was first invented in 1990. The two-spirit people are younger than fucking MTV. So, contrary to the far left woke mad idea that the gender binary is attached to white supremacy, oppression, slavery and terrible things that went on in the past which crucially no one alive today was involved in. Whereas it transpires that the only countries where the idea of a man being a woman is even entertained, well, they're all in Western countries with a majority white population. And of course, transphobia is a real thing and there are attacks on trans people, which is terrible. But maybe these deranged trans women and their allies who spread themselves all over fucking TikTok should take a minute and realise they couldn't get away with that shit anywhere else. And I need to stress, I'm not anti-trans, I'm just anti-woke. I'm against the ridiculous idea that biology, in fact, no, fuck it, reality is somehow a white supremacist construct. Because if you're born male and you want to dress as a female, try doing that shit in Afghanistan. Or if an authority figure, like Ben Shapiro, is up at a lectern giving a speech and you go to interrupt him in any Muslim country, you won't hear the bullet that kills you. And if there are any screamy people watching, wondering where I'm getting my information from, what far-right white supremacist source am I using? Well, it's from the website Feminist Current. As ever, thanks for watching. It seems more fucked up the first line. I guess there are dozens of reasons, although I'll probably explore 2 or 3 of them. Nothing wrong with using a person's preferred pronouns. I think that's polite. And I've forgotten the next fucking line. How wig is, how bright your lipstick is, or how flouncy your dress is. If you've got your cock out, we'll know you're a man. Really that simple. Same fucking hole as last week. Information am I using? Fucking that one up. Fucking that one up, not fucked. Information, well, it's from Modern Feminist. Shit, no it's not, it's from Feminist Current. Do it again, Dan. Right, information am I getting this from? Well, it's from Modern Fem... No, it fucking isn't. Or switch off, you fucking prick.